class, welcome back. Before we go on with reading, I wanted you to pull out your schedule and I want to talk about it for a minute. So we know on one side it's our weekly schedule and you can check off what you do every week. And we have our math, our reading, and our core. But don't forget the other side of your schedule, which is your daily schedule. It is dry erase as well, so you can be checking the off. What I've noticed is you guys have been doing a great job of completing the work on your weekly schedule side. So I thought maybe they're forgetting to do their daily schedule side. So on the daily schedule side, you're doing your math, awesome. You're doing your reading, awesome. You're doing your core social studies, awesome. But these two things that aren't on this side, some of you may be forgetting. The independent reading, I'm not worried about that. I think you guys all like to read your books and you're reading those. But this iReady, that's the one that I'm concerned about because you need to be doing 15 minutes each day of iReady. This will really help since we're not in school right now. It'll help get you ready for second grade. So if you are forgetting to do those iReady lessons, I want you to start today, okay? It's only 30 minutes, 15 minutes reading, 15 minutes math. There's games on there if you earn points. It's actually super fun to do the iReady lessons. So get on there and get them done. I saw that only about a little less than half of you were getting your iReady lessons done last week. So if you kind of slacked a little last week, get back on it this week, okay? Because those will be really helpful moving into second grade because you guys are going to be second graders when the summer break is over. All right, so today, let's get into what we're going to be working on. So we know that we'll be reading A New Story in Grace, but first, I want to do a little review of consonant sounds. So remember, our consonant sounds are those sounds that our mouth are usually closed when we make them, like b or d or w. See how our mouths are closed? We know that those consonant sounds like a, I, our mouth is opening. Remember, without vowels, we'd only have consonants when we talk like this. And who wants to talk like this all the time because it sounds really weird? No, we need those vowels to open our mouth. We're going to be concentrating on our consonant sounds today. So let's review what consonant sounds we have. And remember, just like we're in the classroom, I want you to get out your dry erase board and a marker and your eraser. And here's an eraser that I'm going to use. I know I have a cute little one somewhere, but here it is, and an eraser. All right, get those out now, and we'll start our sounds. All right, now remember when we used to do this in the classroom, I would say there are two ways to make this sound. And you would take your board and you draw a line to show me two ways. Then you'd write down your two ways and you'd show it to me. We're going to do the exact same thing today. So the first sound is ch, ch. What are the two ways to make the ch sound? You write yours while I write mine. Did you come up with ch, ch and ch, tch? If you did, good job. If you didn't, that's okay. I want you to correct them when you pause me and work on them for next time, okay? All right, let's go ahead and erase our boards. This next sound, there are three ways to make this sound. Three. Here we go. So I'm going to make two lines to have three sections, and the sound is n. What are our three ways to make the n sound? Let's write them now. We know that we have n makes the n sound. What's the other sound that we know? Or the other way that we know? Two n's make the n sound, right? And then what's that last way? What is it? We've been seeing it a lot in our reader, haven't we? KN says n. Good job. Go ahead and erase your boards. And this next sound, there are two ways to make this sound. The sound is g, g. It's the first way to make the g sound. You got it. It's our G. What's the next way that we can make our g sound? It's not the J. Don't let it trick you. What is it? G, G. Just like egg, egg. Good job. All right, erase those boards. Let's do the next one. It's just like we're in class. How about this one? Two ways to make the sound. The sound, like mom. Or M. Good job. M says And what else says MM says mom, like mommy. Good job. Erase your boards. This next one, there are 3 ways to make this sound, and the sound is Z. Ooh, that tickles my tongue. Z. Tickles. What's the first way? Z, you got it. What's the second way? Z is in zoo. ZZ, yep, like in buzz. And what's our last way? Can you remember? It's S, isn't it? Like in dogs. Good job. Erase your boards. Our next sound is J. J. There are 3 ways to make the J sound. The first one is, you got it, J, like in Jara or James. What's another way to make the J sound? G, like in gem. And what's the last way? This one's tricky. We don't see it a lot, but it's G-E, like in judge. Judge. Good job. Erase your boards. And our last one, oh, no, we have 2 more. Let's do 4 ways. 4 ways to make this sound. So we'll divide it into 4. You know what this one's going to be? S. There are 4 ways to make the S sound. The first one, you got it, S. What's our next way to make the S sound? C. Next up we have SS. So we have S like in sun. C as in scent. SS like in kiss. Ew, grossness, Darcy. And what's our last one? C-E like in prince. Good job. All right, now we're on our last one. Erase your boards. There are 2 ways to make this sound. 2 ways to make the L sound. L. What's the first way? L. And the other way is, you got it, our double L. Good job. All right, so I hope everyone participated with that. Right now, we are going to move on to our reader. So you may pause me if you need to grab our reader. Did you pause my face like that? All right, let's turn into our table of contents in our reader. And the last story we read was the soccer game. So let's find that story and look below it. We know that we're on supper. Find what page it's on and turn there now, please. Here we go. I can automatically tell that we're going to continue noticing those sounds, those s sounds, the w sound that's with the WH, all sorts of stuff. So let's take a look at what sounds and what words we'll be seeing in this story. All right, now our story today is called Supper. Now, supper is another name for dinner or the meal that we usually eat in the evening or at night. Supper is just another name for it. A lot of families call dinner or supper lots of different names. What does your family call supper or dinner? I can't hear you. You're going to have to send me a picture and tell me. All right, so some of the familiar sounds you're going to be seeing is our W sound spelled W-H, like in whip, when, and wheel. You'll also see our N sound spelled with our K-N, like in knocks and knife. And you'll see our S-E sound that makes the, I'm sorry, I said it backwards, the sound that's spelled with S-E, like in house. So that's actually 5 ways to make this sound that we've learned now. You'll see some 2-syllable word like invites. Remember, syllables is a vowel sound, like invites, or how many times you open your mouth. Invites, chickens, muffins, and frosting. That sounds good. I wonder what she's going to serve for supper. We also have a few terms or vocab words that you may or may not be familiar with, like fresh greens. Fresh greens is just a salad made from leafy greens like spinach or kale, or leafy crops like spinach or kale or chard. There's all sorts of leafy greens that you can have in your salad. Another vocab word is toots. So if you toot, you make a short, high sound. A lot of times trains toot, like toot, toot, like that. Or if you toot, you're making a high sound. You're going toot, like that. Or that's a toot. And at the wheel is another phrase. And if you hear the term at the wheel, it just means that you're driving a car. I hope that none of you are at the wheel, at least not a real car, right? But if you are at the wheel, you're driving a car. All right, there's our vocab words. So what I'd like you to do is read your story. And while you're reading, I want you to notice what Grace is going to serve for supper. When you're done, come on back and I'll show you our workbook pages. All right, we're back and we are on 17.1, which is on page 83. We're going to answer the questions for supper. Now, I have noticed that you all, every single one of you, are doing an amazing job with your sentences. One thing that I want you to start working on is when you're writing your sentences, try to replace things with pronouns. So normally, if we're going to answer this question, why are Kim and Jane Knox at Grace's house? We would say Kim and Jane are at Grace's house because, and then we would put our answer. But I want you to think of pronouns. Remember, pronouns are words that we use to replace nouns. So instead of having to write out Kim and Jane again, we can use the pronoun they. So we could write they are at, and what pronoun will we replace Grace with? They are at her house. You can still write Grace. They are at her house because. And that, I would love to see your pronouns this week. All right. I've also seen that some of you are doing your page numbers and some of you are deciding not to. Good job. If you're accepting that extra challenge, I love it. If not, that's totally fine too. I like that you're making your own choice on that. So good job. So you have these two questions, and then there is just one question on the back, and that's your kitty book for today. All right, little munchies, I'll see you tomorrow. Stay tuned for George Washington coming up next. Ta-ta!